The following program is classified M. It may contain adult themes and some coarse language.
Welcome to the panel on a Wednesday night. A big welcome back to our Sydney and Brisbane viewers who left us last week for the State of Origin grand final. Rated 50 up against...
Is that a lot?
Yeah. I don't know what asterisk means, but we were somewhere in that territory. But they're back with us now, and that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Trust me, they are.
Terrific. I'm glad. I assumed that they were there the whole time.
No, they're back.
I'm not allowed to talk until you introduce me. I don't like to say anything until you say my name. So
I'm sorry.
I don't even know who he is.
Oh, okay. Well, we should consider name tags one week, but I'll just whiz through it. Panel, big week, blah, blah, blah. Tim Fisher's tossed the hat in, of course. GSP's up, Wimbledon's on. Heaps to talk about. Let's meet those who'll be doing the talking, including Mr. Glenn Robbins.
Nice to be here, Tommy. I'm feeling pretty good because I'm sitting next to Kate, who looks beautiful tonight. And
you say that like it's an exception.
No, you said she's looking bosomy tonight.
Yeah, here I am sitting with the world's most extravagant fake hair, and you only notice the breasts. What is going on?
Mind you, the first thing I noticed was the crown thing on your. Is that the king label of?
Stussy is the people that...
Oh, is that right? Sorry.
I didn't bring it up. You brought it up. Anyway, let's get back to you.
Smart.
My mum used to say that to me when she dressed me when I was 6.
Let's talk about her breasts for a moment.
Also, please welcome to the big desk tonight, the big Kate Langbrook.
Now, can I just ask, I don't understand why you have fake hair and then you admit it. Don't you try and get away with the fact that you got... Because if I had something fake, I wouldn't tell anybody. So you go, well, why have it if it's fake?
I don't know.
It's just fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
And I don't think you really think you're fooling anyone.
It's like you with your penile implant.
Also, please welcome to the desk Andrea Powell, back with us again. And keep that applause going down the far end for the comic stylings of Mr. Santo Chilauro. Well, on slightly weightier matters, the GST has got up. Big news on Monday. And did anyone see Treasurer Peter Costello on the 7:30 report? This was on Monday night. I think he'd been...
Was he happy?
I think he'd been at the pub for a little while.
I reckon he would have slept well that night.
Here he is.
You said that a GST without food wouldn't work. You now say, even with your various compromises for the Democrats, you've got 80% of what you wanted. Is that good enough to deliver the benefits that you've promised all along?
Well, I think the first thing we should say, Kerry, is it's a great day for Australia if we're going to
He just had the smile. He had the smile going the entire interview.
25 years.
It never, even the curly questions, it didn't. So we go to the...
I reckon there's something happening under the desk. Surely they can't have a...
This is how he should announce trade deficits the same way. That big grin. But it got the grin got bigger. Have a look at the end there.
Well and truly equipped to get revenue for who? For the states.
Only time will tell. Peter Costello, thanks for talking.
Yeah, it looks like he's had an ecstasy or something.
Do you know, when Peter Costello smiles like that, I get a chill up my spine.
I think there is something very scary about a politician looking that happy.
Yes, it's not right.
It's unnatural in many ways, but obviously a very happy coalition on the...
But it was a bit... I
thought
it was a bit sad they're seeing Tim Fisher go today. I saw the speech being delivered live, and it's so great to have someone in Parliament actually going, you know, with great thanks, and you know, just it's like a good uncle, you know.
Everyone acted surprised. Were they really surprised?
I don't know.
I mean, I was surprised, but
I think there was talk for a while that he wanted to spend more time with his family, with his kids.
The speech was like, it started off quite emotional, and going, oh, this is rather nice, and it kind of went on. He thanked the citrus board at one point. And
I think the word finally was used about 7 times.
Finally, I'd like to thank Ada K. Yeah, so it went on, but still, Tim has stepped down. Interesting one, I saw on the paper on the weekend, there's this new campaign, the 000 emergency number.
Yes.
gets 7 million
Oh, yes.
fake, false or hoax calls a year.
Oh, but hang on, are most of those actually...
accidental.
saying, you know, I've got a sore throat, what can I do? Or,
No, just...
or actually hoax?
Hoax.
I used to actually do that. I was one of those telephonists that worked on the 000 lines in Sydney
But aren't
back
they
in
the police?
1985. Yeah, it was the police department. But
So
I
the police department?
Well, no, I wasn't a member of the police department, but I worked for them.
So you took the calls and then you would relate them to the police or the fire or the ambulance and whatever.
Yes, but
and
in those days you didn't answer just saying emergency or 000. You didn't say police, fire or ambulance. So you got a lot more information in the old days.
And what's it like? Is it pretty scary?
Oh, not really. I mean, most of the calls are hoax calls. They're nuisance
they
calls.
really are.
And especially around a full moon.
Is that right?
Yeah, seriously. In
The
fact,
traditional time for hoaxes.
the supervisors, who are usually always extremely overweight, useless policemen.
Yes.
Oh, I can't imagine.
You know, their lunch would be 4 Tupperware boxes full of God knows what. But
But
they
they
would
had a
always
job.
say it's full moon. You've got to watch out. There'll be lots of
I
crazies
was,
calling.
if I was doing it, I reckon someone rang in with a legitimate, like, my house is on fire, I'd be tempted to go, oh, shit. You will get out of there now. I'll come round and, oh, you all right?
Can you go around to your neighbours?
Hey?
No, it was like that. I used to
Dispense
swear a
advice.
lot on the phone.
But you
and
could tell it was a hoax. It was pretty obvious, you know, I guess, if it was kids giggling in the
Kids?
background.
Would you get kids? Who would hope?
Yeah. Oh, no, actually, it wasn't mostly kids. I mean, kids would ring up and go, you know, or something. Just,
No, that was pretty, but that was funny, yeah.
That is clever.
That mightn't be
No,
right.
because I heard the ads, right?
Good
I heard
accident, another way, sorry.
Someone getting squashed.
Yeah, someone with, sorry, carry on.
No, I was just going to say, I heard the ads and I went, it's never occurred to me to do a hoax call to 000.
It's off limits, isn't
And
it?
I reckon that's a borderline thing to launch a campaign like this.
Because
Because they know that it's really naughty
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because
You
there were
reckon that it's
people like
going to
me.
make people go, oh, that sounds...
Some people will go, oh, have you heard that about 000? We can get that
Oh.
chick off the panel, they'll say.
But now that you'll see your number.
Yeah, they
they'll
don't
see
have
your
the
number.
callback thing. They know
Okay.
that surely they can know
Oh,
who's
that's
calling.
true.
It could be an
Down.
offence. The best one I got was, besides, you know, raspberries and stuff like that, there used to be this one regular woman that rang up called Gwen, who basically just used to scream into the phone, oh, the police department are lesbians! Nice to hear from you, Gwen.
Lovely.
But they're not, are they? They're not lesbians. No. Because that's not true.
Fat and
Hang on,
overweight.
but have you hoax called? Like, not 000, but have you hoax
Yeah.
called in your life?
Yeah, when we were
Have you done the
kids.
Bart Simpson thing?
No, there was a radio priest when we were young who used to like dispense advice, and we would always phone up and like pretend, you know, these elaborate stories. It was a bit tragic. What about you?
Oh, no, but a friend of my brother's always used to do it. And he used to do this. This is so pathetic. We used to go, like, on holidays on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
He would go to the phone box and then he would call up and put on this kid's voice and go, hello, all these 20 cents have come out of the machine. I don't know what to do. And the operator would always be like, where are you? Where are you? It was
crime.
bizarre.
To try and cash in on the action. I was just thinking with the the 000 operators, is it the same as the 0055 operators? Like, you know, you've actually got kids and doing the dishes and you're pretending to be interested? Yeah,
Yeah, we're actually changing nappies a lot.
Yeah.
It is a bit like that. We're in the middle of the night because we used to have different shifts, and one of them would be like 11 till 7 in the morning. And so you'd be asleep with a book over your head, and suddenly someone would ring. And it was one of those old switchboards with a plug and cord. They're
Right.
called Sylvester's
Oh,
switchboards.
those ones.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm sure they've revamped it now. I
Yes,
hope so.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So it does.
But you actually think this campaign is a good idea because it is wasting. Does it hamper the actual usage of that system? Is it stopping?
During the day, it does. I think, well, I don't know, this was a while ago. At night, there seem to be plenty of lines. But it does, it blocks
I
up the
don't reckon
lines.
it
Also, you've
will.
got operators
Yeah,
dealing
Well,
with
obviously they're doing it
rubbish.
for a good
Yeah,
reason.
but I don't think if you're the sort of person who makes hoax calls to 000, it's not like you don't know what 000 is.
True.
And you're not suddenly going to go, oh, we better not bovo. I've heard an ad on the radio saying that someone's life might be in danger.
might.
You're not going to...
Yeah, but you know what? It might stop old women or whatever
Doing
ringing
that.
up and saying, how long do I cook my chicken
Yeah,
for?
yeah.
There's one on the ad
What's
where he's
been
ringing up
happening?
for an electrician and they're saying it's an emergency. Well, this is an emergency.
Yeah, I
you
need
know.
an
And
electrician.
people used to ring up for taxis.
So that's an emergency.
this is-
That
yeah.
is an emergency. Now, speaking of being kept up at night, Wimbledon, I was a little bit cross. It was raining. I is it raining? Still
I
raining?
think it's still raining last night.
Raining,
It's raining tonight. Yeah.
Last night, the commentators never tell you the truth, and this was the commentary last night.
Forecast is the weather will get better, and we're hoping for a fair bit of tennis to be played today. So we remain ever optimistic here at the championships. There you can see
Last
centre
night,
court.
quote, a fair bit of tennis.
But they're pretty good over there.
None.
None. None.
No
there
tennis
wasn't.
was played last night.
there was some.
They warmed
There
up.
was some
Oh,
warming up.
the warming up, sorry.
But they're good. They put a brass band in the.
Yeah, a jazz trio.
Oh, to entertain
No, I think to
people.
drive the crowd away from where I was looking. Would you hang
They'd never
around?
do that with a football crowd, really, would they?
Dun,
A jazz
dun, dun,
band.
dun. Yeah, cheer up, everybody.
They just have their heads bashed in.
And why they don't play in the rain? Because footballers play in the rain.
Why can't you play in the
Yeah,
rain?
I don't know. I don't play
gets
tennis.
wet.
The ball gets wet and won't bounce the
Yeah,
same.
they skid and they hurt
Oh,
themselves.
they're skidding the hurt
It's the same as
themselves,
the heat. They won't play in the heat. Bob Franklin says that when they stop because of the heat, that because they're professional, they should run around in the heat until they die.
Which is probably what they're going to do because doesn't
It's a fair point.
Pat Rafter now has to play like 4 days in a row. It's going to become like an endurance thing. I saw a picture of Jelena Dokic. Did anyone see a picture of Jelena Dokic when she's 3 in one of the paper? And it's actually, the caption there is, Jelena Dokic 3 cuddles a family pet. Now, now all of us from continental European backgrounds know that that happened just before that lamb was slaughtered. At Easter time, your parents say, "Here, pat the cat," and I'm telling you, that lamb does not make it to sheephood. I'm telling you. And isn't it just so? Here she goes, cuddles a family dinner. I think it should be saying. And she's done well.
Led for 5 hours.
That's what they do. They actually grab your uncles tell you to come in. We're about to kill a sheep. Do you want to have a look?
Come on, kids.
It's a bit of
Check
fun,
it
yeah.
Now, look, we're getting the wind up, but just quickly, Glenn, you were watching the bit of Today Show magic the other morning.
Oh, yes. Now, on the Today Show, this was terrific. There was an interview with a gentleman. Unfortunately, his marriage had broken down and his child had been abducted by his wife. He went overseas and got the child and brought it back. And they interviewed him with the child on the show. So it's a sort of a happy ending story, but basically the kid could not have been more distracting in the interview. And watch the guy, he does very well to keep sort of a straight face, but watch the kid going for it to put dad off.
Let's have a little bit of a look.
Today. Father and daughter are with us in the studio now. Good morning to you. Brian, thank you for coming. I think you've got your hands full. Yeah. Let's back up. October. Suddenly you discover your daughter's disappeared.
Yeah, I was to go and take her camping on the weekend, and when I found the house,
In fact, your ex-wife had done, and that was forget the letter of the law, just get her on a plane. Joe,
so she was able to make some friends there, despite the language. But, they're a week afternoon,
There's a nice end to that, and the father has actually taken the daughter back overseas and left her.
I should mention that was sent in by Justin Chitty,
brilliant.
and I actually didn't see it. He saw that. I was not that early. But
Thank
it
you,
was
Justin.
great.
On that note, we have to take a very quick break. When we return, we're very laced in film sport, plus a surprise international guest. That's next on the panel. Wimbledon in the last break, and Santo, Pat McEnroe is back in action.
John McEnroe.
John McEnroe.
I'm so excited because here's a guy who said that tennis should be more like the wrestling, just get out. He would have played in the wet, I reckon.
Yes.
But did you see his very first game? He's teaming up with Steffi Graf in the mixed doubles, and this was their very first point, very first round.
7 times. They wanted to play mixed
he's
doubles
receiving there
together before
Bang.
The end of Steffi's career.
And it's great. And from that point on,
so this will be pretty entertaining stuff. We thought you might like to have a look at
this will be pretty entertaining stuff. I mean, he did win the crowd over, but it's just the old thing that we've often talked about, Glenn, and that in tennis it's so easy to
we've
get a
talked
laugh.
about that before. It's not that hard if you want to get a laugh. If you do the classic, which is where you miss the shot, you run over on the thing and you take someone's drink, have a bit of a drink, crowd goes, oh, yes. Isn't he terrific, dickhead?
Yeah. That's right. They go, oh, look, he's sitting on the umpire's chair. That's hilarious. Oh, look, she's just got a knife in the back. That's hilarious.
It's actually...
Oh, you're shocked.
Oh, I am shocked at that. That shocked me when she got the knife in the back.
It was quite seriously, it was terrible. It was terrible.
That was a triple O call waiting to happen.
It really was.
Never did.
They were getting a lot of laughs in that game because the woman from the other team, I don't know her name, she had an extraordinary laugh, and they were all going nuts because Graf and McEnroe were.
Well, when did she laugh? When she received a serve?
I think we have some vision of the footage of the way she serves.
Love 30.
Listen to the crowd.
Is that a woman?
And again, it's got to put her off.
Look at the crowd.
Even Steffi's laughing and the crowd's laughing.
Have a look at it.
So
Well,
now she's laughing because she knows what they're laughing at.
That's hilarious.
It's almost spiritual.
Yeah.
So now I reckon it's the next step up from the table tennis one.
Yep.
You know, it's that one there. It is. It's a bit of that.
Good technique.
No wonder they have a brass band over there for a bit of fun. You know, someone goes like that, a bit of laugh. Anyway.
On a more serious note,
Yes.
I felt like saying that. Gambling. We spent $11 billion in gambling
How
last year.
outrageous.
Do you
was
reckon?
it just us
Yeah,
or the
I
rest
do.
of Australia?
Not us personally.
Do you reckon people
Australia.
with gambling problems are going, if I could just get that 11 billion for about 10 minutes, pretend into 20 billion?
Sorry. Did you say 11 billion?
$11 billion.
Yeah.
Gambling is running out of control, according to the papers this week.
That's a lot of
We're like 2 million behind New South Wales, apparently. Victoria's 2 million
Right.
behind New South Wales.
You know how you go on the footy tipping and win like $5 every year? Well, it's a lot more
Would
than
that
that.
count? Would that count as gambling?
No, between us, no. That bet that
It
we have
doesn't.
doesn't count at all.
No.
Oh,
no.
really?
We're talking
Because you'll never
pokies.
collect, buddy.
Pokies are the most popular, then followed by casinos and lotto and chips, I guess.
And they're having a problem with chips because what's happening is kids in chips, they've got the Star Wars, I don't know how these work. Do you know how they work?
Yeah,
And
you get this really lame card, right?
You're supposed to
You've got
pull
one
out
that
with your
And
tongue.
you pop it up, and then this is the ultimate quandary. They're selling these at tuck shops, right? The ultimate quandary for a 10-year-old is you can scratch game A, right, and win $10,000, or you can scratch game B and win a free packet of chips.
Oh,
It's one or the other.
They're going
You can't
crazy.
do both.
No, I can't do both.
No, you have to choose one or the other. But like some schools, one school sold out of like a whole term's full of chips in a tuck shop in 3 days.
But Kate, but it's not. Surely it's not to win the game. You're collecting the.
No,
actual
you're not.
cards.
No, you truly.
To win the 10 grand.
There's so much good Star Wars stuff that you're not really collecting that.
a crappy-
You're really not. You're going for the 10
imagine if you
grand
went
of
and
it.
you got the chips and then on the other side
Yeah, you got
had
the 10 grand. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
damn!
Feel a little...
Yeah, that would be a shame.
But so people are up in arms because that's like a proper gambling game for
little kids.
But yeah, they're going nuts over them.
I don't think it should be money. If it's going to be,
No,
you know,
well,
a
that's
snack,
right.
they should
Should be
leave it
alcohol.
as a snack.
Should be little sachets of alcohol.
Exactly. that you
You
can-
know what? You know what I don't like about people can make up their own mind about going gambling and stuff like that. But I've heard some campaigns, one on radio, and it actually says come down to the casino, you'll have a great time, you'll meet friends, and it's all that kind of stuff. And it's just going, no, you will meet creditors.
You'll get to know the deal really
You'll get to know the deal.
Yeah.
I don't mind people saying come to our casino, you can win money, it's exciting, but not come and meet friends.
It's pitching at the older market, the
Yes.
lost and lonely that think, yeah, it's going to be a
But that's
social
the same
event.
thing as 0055 numbers.
What?
Is call this and he'll be some chick who's really happy to talk
And
to
it
you.
never is
Whereas
it?
the reality is it'll be
I don't
Andrea
know,
with a book
Tom,
on her
is
head. You know?
I took my mum and dad to the casino when it first opened, went into the gaming room. I said, here's the gaming room. They have all the... and this woman's walking out going, I've lost everything! And let's just go to where the restaurants are now.
But
Do you know?
gamble?
Oh.
No.
Oh,
Sorry,
no,
I was
what?
going to say, I rang Gamblers Anonymous. I thought I'm going to check out this
Oh.
number because, you know, I think it's a really important service. There's a lot of, you know, people with problems now because of all the casinos in the country. And I got a recorded message saying, you know, leave your name and number, which a lot of people aren't prepared to do because they want to keep it anonymous,
Yeah,
which
they were
is the
down
whole point of...
casino.
Exactly.
So no one answered?
No one answered, but they said, if you need to speak to someone now, you can call the following people. They are available. I rang all those numbers. No one was available. I got 2 recorded messages. No, 3. And another one, a kid answered the phone and said, oh, no, Dad's not here right now. And that was kind of it.
Casino, yeah.
I'm opening
Dad
a bag
at
of
the
chips.
casino. But imagine if you're in a public phone
Yeah.
box and you'd spent all of that money, like
Yes.
calling all these people.
That you could have put into the
nowhere.
pokies and you've wasted it on a phone.
You know, you could sue.
Absolutely.
Do you gamble, though? Do you gamble?
No.
Go on.
See, I don't...
Yeah, I do.
Do you get excited?
What do you do?
Blackjack.
When you gamble? Oh, do you? Oh, you
Yeah.
gamble.
Oh,
And
look,
is it
I don't...
exciting? Do you get a bit of a...
You do.
Yeah.
You get this rush. Yeah,
Because I wish I had that. I don't get that rush.
Do you
That's
do
good. You
horses?
don't want that.
Nothing.
Lotto?
What do Italians do? You have cards? Like, don't they play?
I grew up in, like, you know, basically, you know, playing, you know, going with your parents and
And is that
playing
for money, the guys playing in the cafe? Serious
Yeah.
money? Or?
Serious money, yeah.
Yeah, but you've just never been...
I don't know. But I'm asking you, is it an exciting rush, or is it just... Is it the belief that you'll never lose?
It's the thrill of the chance.
Yeah, it is.
And also, I think, for a lot of problem gamblers, it's the, when you do win, you think that you've made it happen.
Right.
You know?
And that you're on a roll, like you believe stuff like that.
Yeah,
But when
you
you
think my
lose,
luck's
you feel
changes turn around.
sick.
But that Freud says it's a masochistic thing. He always explained it as it's you actually, in the end, you know you're going to lose, so you're basically
but
punishing yourself.
Freud also
Oh, I
said
don't
that
know
we
about
have
that.
penis envy.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
No, he truly
Good
did,
point.
and that's the maddest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I want to bet.
Hey,
See what I did there? Very
Yeah,
clever.
that
I
was
made a
brilliant.
gambling joke and a penis envy
you're
joke.
brilliant.
Oh,
But hang
top
on,
class to me.
How do you do it, Glenn?
we're going to go for either the 10 grand or the packet of
Oh, that's a good idea.
chips.
Okay.
What one? Choose.
Yeah.
Chips.
It's going to be like that
Chips?
thing. Remember a couple of weeks ago? I won 20. or 250.
You're
I'm
not
not
going
kidding.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay,
We
where
go
you
for
go?
chips first, and then if you don't...
Okay, we'll go for the chips first.
This
Okay, hang
this
on.
could be a big win on national television.
We won the chips!
We won. Our kids are going to be out buying those tomorrow.
Let's see if we
Yeah,
won
that's
any
just,
money.
okay, hang on,
Yeah,
10
we've only
grand.
got money. Now we should...
Oh, I
you
can't
really
make
need
it
a
come
coin.
off.
Can't leave this. You need a coin, don't
Would
you,
you like me to
Kate?
use a fingernail or something?
You get it,
Hang on,
Kate.
I can't.
Well, this could be a...
We won.
This could be a,
Oh, no, we've
we
won
didn't.
nothing in the money.
this could be a game show on Channel 10, I reckon. We
He's just scratching stuff.
But Kate, you can't buy the chips now because you scratched the money off.
Ah, wrecked it.
Tommy.
Gambling is a major vice. Watch this, Glenn. You'll be very impressed. So is smoking.
Oh.
It certainly is.
It was a link.
It was a beautiful link, and we got a great thing from someone wrote in.
A letter. And Andrew, we don't often get letters here on the panel.
Yeah,
We're
I like to
excited.
call them things.
Things,
But,
yeah.
it
Things
was
with
a
writing
letter,
on them.
Yeah.
and it was an advertisement from a magazine called Road and Track.
Yeah.
So I think we're talking petrol heads for smoking videos.
Yeah.
And we got the smoking videos. And
Is it like how to give up smoking video, you mean?
no, it says order our smoking models video featuring 12 gorgeous female models smoking.
Gotta see
And
this.
they're not nude, they're not calling up.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, check out how long is her cigarette.
Oh, that's the amateur wives section, surely. It's $50 on a T-shirt.
That's how I smoke. Always look in the mirror. Yeah.
That's all that happens.
Oh.
Oh, it gets more
It's a
exciting.
weird two-camera kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh.
Wow.
She's got fingernails as well. There we are. That's something like in a nightclub that you might see if you ever ventured out.
Oh, no.
Who would buy this stuff? And there's 90 minutes of that.
And that's it.
90
What's it
minutes.
trying to do? I don't...
Well, I don't know. Does it appeal to any of you?
Yeah, a lot.
Are you an ex-smoker? Maybe if you gave up smoking.
Yes, yes.
And you just, I can't smoke a cigarette, but I'm going to
Watch.
picture
I can
that
watch
I'm
chicks
that
do it.
girl. And
Yeah.
Free catalogue with purchase. No nudity. Not sold to minors. Not sold to minors. That's interesting. You can't show video of people smoking to minors.
Isn't that
Well, I don't know.
interesting?
It's not sold to
Well, you
minors.
see it on the telly, don't you?
Yes, you
Like
do.
The Simpsons and
That is one
Wasn't
raunchy
it
video,
delightful?
Andrew.
Yeah, brr.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just quickly, the marching band.
Oh.
Fiasco. Have you been across this? Rick Birch, who's organising the opening ceremony for the Sydney Olympics, has announced that he's not going to use Australian marching bands.
Well, he wasn't going to.
I still think
Oh,
he's
he's
not.
still
Well,
not.
someone tried to change his mind, didn't
Yeah,
they?
that's right. It's very interesting. Again, on the Today Show, they decided to sort of set the record straight and have an Australian marching band come into the car park and do a demonstration. And let's just set the record straight. See Australians doing what they do best, marching.
Right.
Well, let's just see how it goes.
A brief sample of their music and their marching style.
Okay, good idea. Okay, John, can you still hear me over the music?
2000, here we come. Yeah.
I think that's given Rick Birch a little bit to think
They should actually do it in the car park of Stadium Australia, I reckon. The cars didn't even move.
Can we just replay the head of that? Because if you listen very carefully, you'll hear the guy at the head of it. They start off and he just goes, oh, shit.
Really?
So just see if you can hear. Can we just play it again? Just have a listen to the head of this.
Of their music and their marching style.
Okay, good idea.
He's just going, oh, no. Oh, it's all gone wrong. Oh, no, you know what I love about it? It's a car park and there's a couple of cars in the background.
They couldn't get rid of them.
Oh, it's
And they
been
didn't have enough room to spread out.
Oh, no.
Did you see the sad clarinet player?
Let's not individualise.
Not sadder than the cymbals guys.
On that note, I think we really should take a very quick break. When we return, a very special international guest here at the Big Desk. That's next on the panel. Was born in England, where he served in the army before leaving the army and working clearing landmines in foreign countries. He was kidnapped by the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia, lost an arm and a leg in Mozambique. He's since run 15 marathons and written a book. Pretty lazy bloke, I'd say. Please welcome Mr. Chris Moon to the Big Desk. Welcome, Chris. Thank you. What makes someone want to defuse landmines for a living?
In my case, I'd left the army. I wanted to do something worthwhile. Simple as that. And I blame my parents, really, because occasionally they took me to church as a child, so I developed strong tree-hugging and basket-weaving tendencies.
Okay, you want to fight them. And you're not going to be short of work, are you? Because there's a fair few landmines still out there.
Yeah, 4 years ago when I was blown up, I decided it wasn't possible to really carry on in field work, mainly because I've got too much background metal detector interference.
Right. Yes, yeah.
But I'm still quite involved with the issue with a number of charities. One over here, Oscare, I do what I can to help them raise money for their mine action programs, and quite involved with a number of organisations helping the disabled, do much more with that sort of side of the problem now.
No, I was just going to ask, what's it like to be blown up?
It's very loud.
Do you actually have...
It is, actually. I remember the whole thing. Yeah,
did you have armour on? Did you have something...
Yeah, I had body armour on, which protected my stomach, and that was something that's quite important later, because I decided that I'd drink a lot of fluid, because I lost a lot of fluid and needed to replace it badly. So we had standard operating procedures that said you wear body armour and a visor that protects the face, and that's another reason I've got my eyes. So they were all sort of points of operation. Yeah, well, it's good to have them, isn't it?
Yes.
I think, and that's another point. You've got to focus on what you've got rather than what you haven't got.
Yes. But get back to the blow up thing.
Yeah. Very loud.
Right.
And the first thing I remember about it was feeling something was wrong. I took 3 paces. Loudest thing I've ever heard, and then I was lying on the ground. Must have been a split second later. I can remember thinking at first that I was back in Cambodia, when in actual fact I'd worked in Cambodia for 2 years, left, and I was then in Mozambique. I was slightly hazy. Looked at the grass, African grass, thought, must have been blown up. There's only one logical explanation. For whatever reason, the cleared area I was walking in, there was a mine that wasn't found, and still not exactly sure why. It wasn't possible for them to locate it. Possibly below metal detector range, possibly for whatever reason they couldn't find it, possibly a booby trap designed to get a mine clear, whatever. End result was the same. And I always said, not being funny, but I always said that if my blokes ever missed a mine, I wanted to be the first to know about it. I was the program manager. Yeah, although I must admit, I always harboured a secret wish that I'd find it with a metal detector.
Yes.
But you must
another point worth making is, death was definitely the easy option. It felt much easier to just sort of fade away, and it wasn't a frightening prospect at the time to go to this place where there's sort of no pain. For about 1.5 minutes, the body produces endorphins, so you don't feel pain, and after that, it was quite uncomfortable.
So that was like a choice. There was a choice?
Yeah, I think we've always got choices. I think it would have been... I actually felt that I could just sort of give up and fade out. There were several times when I felt that.
Did you go out completely? Were you unconscious?
Never.
So you're conscious through the whole thing?
Yeah.
And you're aware straight away what had happened, i.e. you'd been blown up, and did you lose limbs straight away, or were they amputated?
My right hand was badly damaged because I was holding a demining tool, a prodder, which is what you uncover the mines with. And the force of that blast going through the right hand actually damaged the bones very badly. So later they decided to amputate it in South Africa. Right. My lower leg was completely missing, but of course after the blast I knew that there was only one logical explanation for it after I collected my thoughts. So I can remember saying to myself, prepare yourself, you know, you're going to have your lower leg missing. Sure enough, it was. Just a finger of yellow bone and ragged flesh. This is very much the sort of fast-forwarded version. Missing out the worst gory bits. But I then we had a very well-rehearsed casualty evacuation procedure. I should point out that the accident rate in the charity that I work for is extremely low. You could almost put it on a par if you can compare the percentages to the construction industry. The accident rate is low. Occasionally, you may not be able to cater for every eventuality, and if you're dealing with something designed to maim or kill, then unfortunately it may do that. I was then very lucky because there was a helicopter in the area. I was given some first aid, I was put on a helicopter, and I was flown to a local hospital where I was stabilised, and then after a brief operation there, they packed me up and sent me off to South Africa. But it's a long, long story of how I actually got out, very involved. One of the reasons I survived was because I was a very keen runner.
And you were fit.
Yeah, that helped enormously. I had a hemoglobin count of 2 when I arrived in South Africa. Healthy male has 16, and I was told all this afterwards by the surgeon. He says that if it drops below 4 during the day, you normally die.
Because you've lost so much blood.
And I got down to 2, and the reason I lived was because my heart and lungs were strong from running, so my heart could keep beating very fast for a long period of time.
Is the campaign continuing? I read somewhere that it costs $3 to buy a landmine and $3,000 to remove it.
Yeah, the cost of mine clearance is high. In some cases, it may not be as much as that, and it's very difficult to work out how much it costs to remove a mine because it depends on the density. And in different countries throughout the world, soil type of mine, the type of ordnance varies enormously, so there are many intangibles. In some cases, it could be several $100s. It varies, but it is very, very expensive.
I thought there was a treaty. I thought there was a treaty that had been signed, and Princess Diana brought it to the public forefront a lot.
That's
I know.
right, yeah.
But I thought there was a treaty that had been signed by countries to stop.
80 countries.
Most of the countries in the world, 80
But not the
countries
United
have ratified it. They've said that they will sign it in 2006 when they've got alternatives in. To summarise it, basically there's a treaty that was brought into being by the Canadian government. It's called the Ottawa Treaty because they put forward the initiative in Ottawa at a conference, which is banning the production, stockpiling and use of mines, and there are also clauses in the treaty to help victims of landmines and also to clear landmines. One of the difficulties is that unaccountable armies and governments in countries, particularly perhaps you could argue like the situation we've seen on Kosovo, haven't signed the treaty, they've used mines, and now there is a problem with the refugees going home. And this is one of the first situations where I think the world has seen, because of the number of media there are in Kosovo, actually what it's like for people going home.
A couple of NATO guys were killed.
Sadly, yes.
And they reckon it's going to take between 3 and 5 years, possibly, to clear all the mines in Kosovo.
Who's still making them? Are they armament companies, or who's still making landmines?
Varies. Most of the countries that haven't signed the treaty, I think, are China, the US, and Pakistan and India. The situation in countries like Cambodia goes back many, many years. So there are mines in the ground that have been there for decades and decades that are affecting people now. So those mines have to be cleared. That process is working. In May, I ran the length of Cambodia, and on the first day, I actually ran through 5 villages that are now villages that used to be minefields that were cleared by the charity that I worked for when I was there. So there is some light at the end of the tunnel. Worth saying also that the estimates for the number of mines throughout the world have been high. The UN said 110 million. It's not quite that high. Survey work and clearance work in mine-affected countries has shown that those estimates could be out by a factor of 2 or 10. So it's not so much the number of mines we should be looking at, but the effect they're having on people. And so
Well, they had this effect.
yeah. Well, in my
this is
case,
quite
and you were lucky. What about
in my case, it's very different because I chose to be there. I accept full responsibility. But of course, the thing I would point out is that people who live in mine-affected areas have no choice. That's why I'm such an advocate for mine clearance.
Why do you risk your life trying to defuse a mine? Isn't there a procedure where you can stand back and throw a...
In my case, I was actually walking in an area where we'd removed them, but it wasn't possible to locate it.
Is it because
actually,
you step on them and when you step off they blow up? Is that why
they tend to work with
pressure triggered? Or?
The most common mechanism is an operating pressure of between about 2 and 5 kilograms, and that usually puts a striker, sometimes held by a spring or is forced by a spring, into a detonator. So it's quite a simple initiation mechanism, and then that explodes the TNT in the mine.
Are they crudely made? Like, can they be sort of
they can be
cheaply
improvised,
made and
but
stuff
they
Does that
tend
make
to be
them
plastic
harder
molded.
to disarm and more dangerous to disarm?
The biggest problem with mine clearance is that is actually locating the mines. It's actually finding them. And at the moment, the most widely used method is manual teams using metal detectors. In some cases, it's possible to use equipment, but that has a heavy capital cost. And also, in most trials, you're finding between about 80 and 85 or 90% of the mines with those. And in a lot of areas, you can't get in to clear the mines with equipment because vegetation has grown up in the sort of 10 to 15 years that the minefield's been there.
Well, you know, also in England, you know, when the mad cow outbreak was on, I remember there was a suggestion from someone that instead of slaughtering the mad cows, that they send them to countries like Cambodia and Laos that have still got, and let them wander around. No, it's true. And you go,
you have got to be joking.
No, it was something somebody suggested, but I mean, if you work
Is
out,
it
if you painted 5 cow's feet and put them in the studio here, and we watch where they walk for about 2 days,
You'd
they wouldn't
never
cover
know.
very much of the surface area of the ground.
Right.
And the cost of shipping would be
You could have
huge.
sent the English cricket team. I think that might have been wandered around and would have been a use for them.
Mate, when I came on the show, I did say I'd answer questions on any subject except England's recent sporting performance.
Just quickly, how you've run a few marathons. Have you got any more coming up?
Yeah, got one in July in the States.
Yeah.
Can I just say, you ran on this in the Sahara Marathon, which is across the Sahara, 220 kilometres.
That's grueling.
Yeah, but it's in the Sahara, so...
You get a bit of suntan at the same time. That's got to be as hard as it gets.
Certainly for me, that was a challenge. I think the thing that I want to do now is try and get a little bit faster. I'm fed up with being the fat and easy
well, I was
boy
going
at
to
the back.
say, you know, you should try a bit harder, buddy.
What about, I don't take this the wrong way, Chris, but can you actually swim in a straight line?
Well, I can now, but initially swimming was hard for me because I felt like Elephant Man. Everybody stared at me, I thought. I was probably being over self-conscious. But swimming was a real battle. The first couple of times I went, it was a real trial. That's why I sort of put a little bit in the book called Sink or Swim. So it was one of those situations where I either had to face it or not.
Did you float more or
no, first time I leapt in the water, I went around in circles.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then I compensated and got used to it.
Right.
And since then you've had a baby
But it's easy
and
now.
got married.
Yeah, it's easy now. I just leap in the water, hold my stump up and shout shark and get water.
On that note, that's the book. It's a fabulous book. It's called One Step Beyond. Oh, the author is Chris Moon. Would you please thank him for joining us this evening? And we'll be back with more panel right after this break.
I reckon Chris was just amazing.
Yeah, there was so much I didn't get to ask him. He was fantastic.
Unbelievable.
We'll do it after the show.
Okay, but our viewers at home...
Well, then you can describe it next week.
Tape it, Glenn.
Okay. Yeah, tape it, exactly. It is time, in fact, to talk sport, and joining us now in the central commentary position, please welcome Mr. Steve Quartermain. Okay, we'll start with tennis, shall we?
Are they doing it?
Yeah, Steffi Graf's just got through to the quarters. Pat Rafter is playing Boris Becker as we speak, and it's good news. Rafter has just won the second set after taking the first, so he's leading 6-3, 6-2 over Becker. After that, the Scud plays Greg Rosetsky. That'll be a slugfest, but I think Philippoussis will win that. And Jelena Dokic plays, we don't know who yet, but she's going great guns.
Isn't it Dokic?
Yeah, we have to say Dokic.
Okay, well, it's always been Dokic, and now, last couple of days ago, she said, now call me Dokic.
What did she really say? Now call me Docky.
Yeah.
Did she just say, excuse me? You've been calling me
it was always Doc.
Oh,
I used to be called Dockick. Now I want to be called Docky.
Her dad just would call everyone up and go, Dockich is the name.
Yes, sir. Don't argue.
Now, we're not sure who Yelena Dokic or Dokic is playing, but it could be this girl, Alexandra Stevenson. Now, who is she? We don't know. She's come from nowhere. She's an 18-year-old unknown from America.
She does pantomime.
Well, she's made amazing headlines this week thanks to her mum, Samantha. Now, Samantha is a leading sports writer in America, and she's created extraordinary headlines this week, as you do. The tabloids in England absolutely love her. She's described... Well, firstly, she wanted to sue Wimbledon this week because her daughter started the tournament as an amateur. Therefore, she couldn't win prize money. Now she said, I'm going to sue you because, in fact, she was a pro the day Wimbledon started. So, to cut a long story short, they're going to give her the money now. So, at the moment, it's probably up to about 100,000 the way she's going. But her mother this week described women's tennis as, quote, a hotbed of racism and lesbianism.
Like the police force.
She said she said the female tennis circuit is, I quote again, it's a jungle for young girls. It's a big, bad place. She said that her daughter, she alleges that her daughter was called a nigger during the qualifying tournament.
And she's black. I didn't realise.
She's black. Her mother is white. Her father is an African-American. She says she won't leave her daughter alone in the locker room because she alleges there's sexual advances made to her. So it's all pretty frightening stuff.
Is this at Wimbledon? Or
no, this is just general.
Look, Adrian's wondering how she can get her ass over to Wimbledon.
Look, and it's well known that there's lesbians playing in tennis, but that's no big deal. I mean,
but surely another problem is interfering parents.
Well, that's where I was going to come from. Look, there's lesbians playing in sport, big deal. There's homosexuals, and it's no big deal. That's their right.
There's probably drug addicts.
Well, there is. There probably is.
And gamblers.
But that's the thing. There's another parent that's coming out. Here's this poor 18-year-old girl trying to, she's having the best tournament of her life in a short career, and her mum's creating all these
freaking out.
Hey, but talking about someone who came out of nowhere, tell me about Wayne Arthurs.
Well, he's been on the circuit for a long, long time.
He's a good player.
He's been on the circuit he's just a journeyman, basically. He makes most of his money out of doubles.
How old is he?
He's 29.
28. Well, there's been varying reports, 26, 28, 29, 32 or something, but we think he's about 28.
But he had a really good games. No, he didn't lose a serve.
Fantastic.
Really?
But
he didn't lose a serve.
Finally came a cropper against Andre.
Although, but not by much. There was a tiebreaker.
There's a fine line, particularly in men's tennis, between number 1 and number 400.
Yeah, that's
so competitive. Dokic has started the tournament at 150 to 1. She's now 11 to 2, so we wish her well. She's going great. Yeah, but don't feel sorry for the youngsters on the circuit. Here's a great story this week. Everyone says, oh, the poor up-and-coming players, they go from tournament to tournament when they're young, they never win. Take, for example, this week at Wimbledon, a young German girl called Marlene Weingartner. Never heard of her. Now, she played Monica Seles in the opening singles, lost 6-love, 6-love. Then played in the doubles, first round, lost 6-love, 6-love. Now, she walked away from Wimbledon without winning a game, pocketed $20,000.
Thank you very much.
Is it?
Is that like the lucky last prize?
Everyone gets a prize.
At the sweep.
Yeah, so 20,000 not bad for not winning a game.
Embarrassing.
Is it hope
Very
for us?
fortunate.
Absolutely.
Very hopeful. Now, Ben Johnson has been making, of course, you all know Ben Johnson, the man that provided, well, my greatest moment in sport and my worst moment in sport in '88. Of course, he won the men's 100 and then tested positive to steroids. He was full of it. He cheated the system, came back after suspension and was found positive again. The second time he said he was set up. But Ben Johnson, the last 2 weeks, has made huge noises. He wants to compete in Sydney.
Wow.
Can he?
He can. He's eligible at the moment, but I'd just say, look, he's a cheat. He's a self-confessed cheat. Now, let's hope he doesn't qualify for a start. And if the IOC had any kahunas, they would just say, Ben, you're banned.
Yeah, but that's just singling out one guy, and you
but
know...
he's gone twice. Yeah, that's the anomaly in the system. He's gone twice already.
How long for?
Well, it varies. I mean, there's a 4-year, there's a 2-year.
Can't it be 3 strikes you're out? Can't we give
it should have been
people
3
another
strikes.
go?
Yeah, but anyway, look, let's just hope
he could be part of the marching band beforehand. Give him something
But 2 weeks ago in Athens, someone equaled his time. Non-driver assisted. And where was the big news there? Was it because he did that in the Olympics?
It was big news. Yeah. But of course, Ben Johnson's world record afterwards was made null and void because he tested positive. So that, but it was a. So let's just hope he's not there.
I've got a drug story. There's a famous French soccer player, a guy called Dugarry. He was part of the French national team that won the World Cup last year. He's been caught. Yeah, he's been taken. Now here's a footage of him scoring a goal. Now I don't know whether they actually needed to test him for drugs when they could have just looked at the vision of this celebration.
The man
who was criticised. Shouldn't be playing as
I reckon-
That's not drugs, that's too much red lemonade, I know that.
And the tickets for the Olympics, of course, we've had Mark Taylor trying to sell the tickets for the Olympics. Now they've recruited Tony Lockett, Paul Harrigan and John Eales to sell Olympic tickets.
Are they not moving?
Well, I don't know. No one's saying anything. Here they are this week. They're ringing up basically people at home saying, buy tickets. Now, you'd think if things were going well, they wouldn't need to do this, but they're not revealing how many they've sold. But there's a deadline, July 16, so if you want to go buy Olympic tickets, buy them before July.
But they have said it's a bit slow. They said internationally it's going fine, but locally it's
well, they are
quite slow.
expensive, really, when you look at it. Golf. Now, if we heard of Renee Richards, she was the man who played...